Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. So, we're still hoping to get this this Han National movement going, and I'm just gonna give it a minute. I'm just gonna give it a minute here, and once this pops off, then we'll take the fight to Great Britain. In the meantime, I've noticed. Ooh. Well, I mean, I am going to go into a fight with some of the most powerful armies in the world, so you know, time to activate chemical warfare. If we're gonna do a bad guy anti-democratic war of aggression here, let's do it. It is not lost on me that Spain is holding part of Al Rif, which is really my territory. So let me see if I can purchase that that land. They want to give me military access. That's really interesting situation. They don't want to give me a chunk of Al Rif, but perhaps if I give them... Wow! I get a lot of stuff for investment rights. But on the other hand, let's take a look at goods transfer and cash. They want my dope. They want my telephones. They want a lot of my telephones, but it drops off after a point. 334 telephones. Let's do that. Let's not give them investment rights. And what about my opium? Maxes out at 16. And then we'll do some cash. 5,000? Yeah, that should be... I'll do 6,000, just to lock it in. We're going to be spending a bit on this, but, you know, it'll be fine. I don't want to give them investment rights. Same proposal. Nice! Alright, and obviously that's going to cost me some cash, but that's okay. These things happen. Let's take a look at how much. Goods expensive. Wow, actually, I'm paying a lot for those telephones. That was dumb, but, you know, it is what it is. So, capital interests. The interest of the petite bourgeoisie in the lucrative grain trade with Spain has led them to begin lobbying in favor of closer ties with Spain. Does the increased volume not permit for more risk? Quite the opposite. When a deluge of money enters one's pockets, one becomes predisposed to mania. An extra coin to a waiter, a formerly shocking fee paid off with a smile. If one is not careful, one ceases to look at their ledgers. They pay more than they ever did, and this is the road to ruination. An excellent point. Will it justify the deployment of warships? It had better. If not, perhaps a donation will. A toast to our prosperity, pro-country lobby, or our relationship should remain strictly transactional, weaker petite bourgeoisie. Petite bourgeoisie are not currently in the government, and I have no plans to make them. Our relationship should remain strictly transactional. Alright, Han Secession Movement, let's get her going. I'm going to stage an army over there just for the sake of facilitating that which I wish to facilitate. Hehe, flamethrowers spreading. Excellent. Although, unfortunately, this does mean that someone else has got flamethrowers. But perhaps it also means that no one else has the same... But perhaps it also means that, two different fronts. Well, that's exciting. Perhaps it also means that someone else has not prioritized what I've prioritized. So, we're going to put one front in the south and one in the north. See, this right here, this is why I don't want to be going for an aggression against Britain at the same time as I got other stuff going on, because this is drawing away two of my frickin' armies. And I don't desire that by any stretch of the imagination. I'm really liking this this ratio here. Wow, my my standard of living skyrocketed when these territories left the country. See, this is what I'm talking about here. So even though these are unincorporated territories, they still count towards my average standard of living, and all my territories do. So that's interesting. I didn't realize that. The Devil's Railroad. Workers on the railway in Timbuktu are dying in droves due to the harsh malarial conditions and the extreme demands placed upon them. I'm going to say full steam ahead. I'm not going to make the same mistake that I made over in Kasai of letting it, of taking a penalty to construction efficiency, because that just means no railroad, and that means the standard of living is only going to get worse in the state. I have 2 weeks remaining to reform my government. Let's do a quick check on that. I can't get more legitimate than I currently am, so we'll stay where we are. The Union of Rights and the Democratic Party will simply be the ruling powers. North Squadron needs a new leader. This guy's a convoy raider and tactful. Reduce morale damage, but extra defense. You know what? Let's add the man in. I've been told that for fleets, fewer individual men is better, so that's what we'll do. Unfortunately, this means once this war finishes, we probably are going to have to rebalance the government size in these areas, because the chances that the enemy will leave all of the government admin that we've purchased, that we've constructed... Oh no, they're actually building their own. Interesting. Very interesting. This is wonderful. And cash flow is still doing just fine. Standard of living is positively great. And I get a really high loyalist percentage. This is pretty rare for me. I don't have the rad bonus from guaranteed liberties. I don't have a high, a dense and conservative citizenship type. So this is pretty rare and unusual, and I'm feeling pretty jazzed about it. Hey, health system's up to 5. Look at all these institutions. Nice. Alright, come on, China. You can do it. I believe in you. Delicious water. Everyone loves water. Get it going. I'm going to do something I almost never do. And I'm going to progress this up to 5. I almost never play at speed 5. But I simply want to get this going and done with. And I don't think much is going to transpire whilst the war is underway. In fact, I feel confident in my ability to win this without too much going on. So, because I want to get to the other war, right? The other war is the major war is the war that I want to get to. Am I still making progress on high-grade explosives? I sure am. So that should be good to go. The munitions company of the French Low Countries has some really good bonus. I've been kind of slacking. I haven't been producing what I need to. Yes, reduced military goods cost. And we are in that. So that is actually saving me a pile of cash. Now I'm still at Midland tax rates. So theoretically, when this war kicks off, I will be able to if I go to high taxation, I may even have a sustainable war effort, which would be crazy unusual. 6 more months till flamethrowers. So I think we may go to flamethrowers part of the way through the war. So they'll have that advantage on me, but I've got chemical warfare and tanks. And I've got tanks just out the wazoo. I've got an overwhelming abundance of tanks. And as you can see, I'm winning these battles. Great Britain went after Nagpur. War crimes! Aides of Gaucini's use of mustard gas against the civilian population of Northern Anhui has branded him a war criminal. There are widespread calls to institute laws outlining acceptable conduct in warfare. Great mustard-colored blisters, blind eyes, all sticky and stuck together, always fighting for breath, with voices a mere whisper, saying that their throats are closing, they know they will choke. Blech. Not ideal. All's fair in love and war gets the trait war criminal, which reduces popularity and increases his kill rate. Northern Anhui gets -4 standard of living and plus 20% mortality. Wow. Gorsh. But minus 10% kill rate. You know, this is a shame. This is such a shame. But when we go up against Great Britain and the United States, we can't pull our punches. And unfortunately for the people of Northern Anhui, that simply means there are going to be some bad years. People of Northern Anhui, this is going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt me, but that doesn't mean it's not going to hurt me. And we'll see, because we need to be on our A game when the time comes to square off with our traditional enemies. Oh, that feels real bad. That feels real bad, but we are in an anocracy of the stakeholders where compassion can only play something of a role in society. That's imperialism for you. We are nearly finished with our war. This war is going to be fought to what you call it, capitulation, I believe, will be the state of affairs. And that is unfortunately what it is. A socialist revolt in Liberia. Well, that is extremely inconvenient for my schedule. I bet this war is going to finish before that happens, though, so I can use these armies. I'm going to risk it. I'm going to risk it not mobilizing another army in hopes that these two armies can finish out the business in China. Beautiful. And can get themselves over to the front of this other war. They're going to go back to Africa anyway. So we might as well. Alright, so one more short battle with one of our subjects, and then aggression against Great Britain. We're experiencing some electricity shortages in many areas. Before we do this, let's go ahead and reset production methods in all of the... in all of the territories which rebelled. And then we'll take a quick look at how things are going over here. In terms of taxation capacity, we are indeed short in some of these areas, some of them by a significant amount. Oh no, we're short of infrastructure. Because of the devastation which we have inflicted on these areas. Yes. Okay, so this is not a problem that can be solved short term. Wow. Absolutely wrecked states. Now, this infrastructure problem, though, is not... I never did build universities in these areas. Construction efficiency is okay. Perhaps the AI simply annihilated the universities which I created, or perhaps I did not create them consistently enough. No, you know what it is? I did around before my second set of conquests. Because part of the reason these places are not... Well, these places are maximally employed in the railway department. Well, the private sector is handling that. Hopefully they'll handle the power as well. Anyway, let's focus on Africa. Let's focus on the Africa situation. I think probably with us having gotten to this point of being very close to flamethrowers before the war, I think we'll just get there and activate those before we get going here. So after that, what do? I think this might be the first time I've actually finished out the tech tree in a run since the big tech revamp. I'm going to go for mass propaganda. I finished tech, I finished military, and arc welding is spreading. So I think we'll do mass propaganda, then finish out arc welding, then finish out analytic philosophy, and that will be the end of the tech tree. Secondary goal of run unlocked. Finish the tech tree. Actually, if I finish out these the flamethrowers tech, I should still have time to activate them and get my armies reorganized once again prior to the war starting out. So maybe I will simply kick off the war right away. No, I think I'm gonna wait. No reason to beef about the beef. Generals misfired cannon. An affair between Hippolyte Taschereau and Léon Astouin's spouse has reached our ears, threatening to affect his public image if we don't destitute the general. He's 68, a traditionalist commander, and an alcoholic and an opium addict. Aligned with the armed forces, he's a moderate, and the other fella is a legitimist. Now, I just have to point out that if you're a 46-year-old and you've been cuckolded by a 68-year-old, one who by a 68-year-old military man, a brigadier general, a man brigadier generaling at 68, not having been promoted beyond the rank of the lowest ranking general, I simply, Astouin, what is going on in your household that has allowed this to happen? I don't, maybe this is victim blaming, but I think we need to get Mrs. Astouin's side of the story here, is all I'm saying. Madame Astouin. As if being caught in the act wasn't enough, Hippolyte Taschereau stepped from the bath to see a telltale rash spreading. There was only one liaison he was seeing. Now there was no denying it, not after the general's very flesh betrayed the affair. We still need a general, and these are personal matters. He becomes syphilitic, and Astouin has a 10% chance of becoming an alcoholic. Or we cannot trust a man like this. Astouin becomes syphilitic. Hippolyte will step down. I'm going to pick the second one. That simply is what it is. Does that do anything to our organization? I don't think so. Alright, so now... L'Allemagne c'est rien. That's our achievement for ensuring the non-creation of a Germany. And at this point, it's time to go after Britain. So, they've got some territories over here. Is there anywhere... Is Britain still... Are you still in a defensive pact with the United States? You are, but you are notorious. So let's see what I can take. No diplomatic... Oh, because we've got a... they're going after Bali. I'm going to simply declare neutrality on this, because I have bigger fish to fry. It's going to be 60 infantry to take British East Africa. It's going to be only 11 infantry to take the Cape Colony. Zulu is a Japanese puppet. I may have to leave British East Africa just on just down to the well, let's start by looking at how it looks. They might say yes if we say, I desire the Cape Colony. So I'm going to force a diplomatic play. If I have to fight the Ottomans, then so be it. I ain't afraid of no Ottoman. I ain't afraid of no stool. So this will be me and all my vassals, and then the Cape Colony. Yeah, let's do it. Let's force a diplomatic play. And we know this is going to be a real war. Army of the Rhine needs conscripts, I'm realizing. So, we'll do... .30 infantry, 20 heavy tanks, and 10 light tanks. And that should be sufficient. We'll increase the number of infantry. Alright, perfect. Now, what are our other war goals? We want Isak and Warsangali. We want to conquer Isak and Warsangali. Do we have return ones? We only have Bampur over here. I don't consider that a priority. Conquer, so these are all part of Somalia. Yes, Somaliland, as it's called in this time period. So I need the Ethiopian flag here. I can't. I simply cannot. Is the only way to force a transfer of those subjects? I think it might be. How curious. Yeah, I might need to force a transfer of those subjects in order to get them into the war. So, we will grab Isak. And Warsangali, which is here. And then I have 123 things remaining. It is possible that from here... No, I desire Zulu. I want to take British East Africa so bad, but it's going to be so much infamy for the end of the game. It's going to make all my subjects furious. All my subjects are going to be big mad. How do I wish to target this effectively? Perhaps I will conquer some of these states in here. Oh, but I need to have a... Actually... Let's put a liberate subject war goal on British East Africa, because this costs me nothing from an infamy perspective. So now they're in the war, and now perhaps I seize some war goals. I hate to spend the maneuvers to conquer these small territories on behalf of Ethiopia now, but I should have that option. I don't. Quite curious. Quite curious. So let's start slicing off some territory. I think East Congo, East African Katanga, and Kasai, because these are all territories which are rightfully part of. Oh, the Netherlands. The Netherlands wants them. That's curious. No, I desire them, and I will give them to whomever I please. So this will cost me some infamy, but not that much. East Hereroland. Oh yeah, there's territories down here that they're also holding bits of. All right. Eyes on the prize. Eyes on the prize. British East African Kasai, take it. Conquer state. British East African Katanga, take it. And East Congo, take it. Alright, so now we've hit a point of infamy. We have 52 maneuvers remaining. I've added the Liberate War goal for British East Africa. I think I'll make that primary. That's going to cost me some maneuver. I think I'm going to use the rest of my maneuvers. Unless I want to sway someone who matters. I don't think so. Because I don't think Japan's necessarily going to be able to contribute to this. So I think I will make the transfer of Isak and Warsangali a part of the primary, so that I make sure I get those for incorporation to Ethiopia. And then we'll add the liberation of British East Africa. So that Britain will lose these territories whether they like it or not. Assuming I can win. Which I feel as though I can. I strongly feel. But one must be conscientious. So, we'll put our primary forces on what I see as the main front here in Africa. I just did the second and the third, I think. Let me make sure. Well, I'll make sure the first is going in a second here. The Army of North Africa, we will simply place on the Gibraltar front. The Army of Central Africa, we will move over here to the Guyana front. Ooh, how many maneuvers have I got left? I would love to steal Guyana. I'm trying to steal Guyana the whole time. I can't. I don't have quite enough. I could steal Guatemala or Ceylon. Or Gibraltar. Let's steal Gibraltar. That would be funny. Might be able to bring Spain in to get Gibraltar? Maybe. We'll see. I'm going to leave that maneuver open. And then we'll take the Army of East Africa. We'll place them on the East Africa front. We'll take the Army of West Africa. We'll place them over here in Central Asia. And do I have an army still maneuvering over here? There's a question. Where is the Army of East Africa now? They're here. They're on their way to Ethiopia. The Army of West Africa is on their way to the Persia front. The Army of North Africa is on their way to the Gibraltar front. And the Army of Central Africa, unaccountably, is on their way over to Guyana. Alright, unaccountably capitalized, and by unaccountably I mean I did it and it was a mistake. There we go. Perfect. And then my French home defense armies are waiting where they're waiting. The enemy is mobilizing. The Russians have begun embargoing us. Not a tragedy. I'm going to hike taxes, which should help us sustain our war. I'm not going to worry about the Christmas Isles. About Christmas Island. I simply could not be less bothered by Christmas Island. And there's the flamethrowers tech that I was waiting for. So, let's go ahead. This is going to cost some of our armies some organization, but it will make them significantly better. And there will be enough time before the war gets going for them hopefully to recover all that organization. And what do flamethrowers actually do? Yeah, 15 offense, 50% devastation, extra morale damage. That's wonderful. USA sides with Great Britain, as does Honduras. Alright, that was predicted. Ottoman Empire and their subjects. Oh, interesting. So this creates a situation. I think I'm going to send the Army of the Rhine to the Egypt front. I have a second army going to Persia. I'm going to send them to the Persia front with... Oh no, that's only the first army. I think I'm going to have to divert one of my primary armies. Well, that's a shame. On the other hand, if Persia gets... Well, okay, what's Britain's war goal right now? Transfer of Sierra Leone? Interesting. So I need to defend that area. So that's an interesting one. They've placed me in an interesting strategic dilemma. Spain will no longer say yes. Empire of Japan will sway... They liberate subject war goal. Oh man, I have the potential to do something really, really funny. But let's stay with our eyes on the prize here. Regime change in Isak. I'm trying to conquer that anyway. Let's do it. I don't know how much Japan aligning with me actually helps me, but it is what it is. Oh, this army has mobilized its conscripts wrong. Gosh dang it. Second French Expeditionary Force, you fools. I'm forced to add conscript infantry to this army. But them's the breaks. That's how you gotta do. That is simply how you must do. These are the war goals as they've been set out. And I must honor them. There's a tiny front over here. Some business going on in IT that I cannot possibly be bothered with. So we'll see. We'll see if my extreme kill rate bonuses will actually protect me here. Persia's going to be tough. I may lose out that front. French Namakland. All right, so that's actually good because we have really good defense of French. Hold on. Where's French Namakland? It's down here. All right. So as long as we're succeeding on the South Africa front, I become uncapitulatable. So that's good. That means I can lose Greece. I can lose Persia. No problems associated with those. And if I simply go in with my army of the Rhine into the Ottoman Empire, I can sustain that for potentially forever. Obviously, I've acquired some infamy. IT wants help, but I can't. Well, I'll say yes, IT, but I really can't afford to send anybody to assist you right now. You've picked a very inconvenient time to have a rebellion for me, sir. A very inconvenient time indeed. I think I may increase conscription in some of these other armies. We'll just throw a few more. And by a few, I mean really a lot of conscript battalions into these armies. So that's the army of North Africa. The army of East Africa. No, this is the army of Central Africa. We definitely need more conscripts here. Max out heavy tanks in that area, and then a few cavalry. The army of East Africa can certainly use some heavy tanks. And then maybe a few light tanks. Just a few. Alright. That, I'm hoping, will be sufficient to guarantee me the force that I require. Mediterranean Squadron, let's put you on raid convoys to mess up supply for these armies. I need to figure out what I want to do with my fleets. Let's go ahead and put them in British waters, and let's get them blockading and raiding convoys. And we'll have you doing the same. Alright. Force comparison on the main front still looks rock solid. It seems the enemy is sacrificing that area, which I don't know that they've got a plan if that's what happens. But anyway, that is all the time we've got for this episode, my nerds. I have had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.